How to replace a rear wheel bearing assembly on a 2007 Saturn VUE and it's an all-wheel drive. The first thing we're going to do before we even jack the vehicle up is loosen this axle nut. You may want to soak it with penetrating fluid or grease or anything like that overnight to make this job easier. On my car it's a 30mm on the rear. For some reason on the front it's 34, but if you rent one of these axle nut sets, if you don't have the nuts for this, you can rent these for free from Pep Boys, O'Reilly's, etc. and get your money back, so these are super useful. One thing before you loosen this axle nut, if you don't have a torque wrench to torque this nut back down properly, on this car it's 151 foot-pounds of torque, then just mark on the nut and also the bolt where the bolt was, so when you put it back on you can just make sure those two line up. If you have a torque wrench it's no big deal, don't worry about this step. To get the nut off, just use a long breaker bar like this, nice 1/2-inch drive, you should get it off in no time. So once the axle nut's loose here, just leave it level with the end of the threads here, and if you don't have an impact like this, then you might want to loosen these lug nuts too before we start jacking up the car and placing it on jack stands. So just take the rest of the lug nuts off now and take the wheel and move it to one side. Now this is the brake drum here. Usually you just kind of move it side to side and it should come off, but if you have the parking brake engaged you may want to disengage that, otherwise this won't come on because your parking brakes are applied, so we need to take this drum off to do that. So with the parking brake disengaged, just take the drum 9 to 3 and just move it side to side. It should come right off. If you can't get it off, it'll only be seized around this area here, not round here. You don't want to hit the drum because it could damage it. So just take a socket and lightly tap the socket between the threads here. We use a socket because we don't want to hit these threads here, and this should unseize it from this area here. When you take the drum off, make sure you're wearing a mask because loose brake dust can get into your lungs and cause damage. It's not really good for you at all. So this is a 2-for-1. While you're in the brake drum you can actually get some brake cleaner and spray it all down. If you want to check the brakes, check out our drum brake video. I'll link it in the description below. You can learn about all these components and how to check the wear and everything is working correctly. Now the next thing we're going to do is free this CV axle rod here from our wheel bearing assembly, which is this piece right here. The reason we left this bolt on just over the edge is so when we hit this with a hammer we're not damaging the threads on our CV axle. We're going to leave the CV in the car, the only thing we're replacing is the assembly, so we don't want to ruin these threads here. By pulling this bolt level with the end here, there's maybe 1 centimeter, so 10mm of space here. So what we want to do is just take a long socket, sort of the same circumference as here, and just whack this with a hammer. This should push this 1 centimeter that way until this bottoms out here, and then it's loose. Then we can take this threaded bolt off and then push it out all of the way. If we unbolt this assembly and don't do this step first, it's really hard to separate the axle from the assembly, especially if it's seized on. So it helps while this is bolted in to free this as a first step. And again, if you don't have 4-wheel drive, you'll notice this is quite hollow here and you won't need to bother with this step at all. So now we're just going to take this axle nut off. There's also a washer in here which we can set aside as well. That might just pop off when we start hitting this all the way out afterwards. So we gave it a couple more taps. The splines are loose now, you can see them just sliding away, so we don't have to hit it as hard now. So washer and the nut is off and the CV axle is now separated from the bearing. Now we can just start unbolting this bearing from the whole assembly. So holding this wheel bearing assembly on is 4 13mm bolts, 2 up here and 2 behind here. They're around here. So if you go behind, you see this whole rusty piece in here. They're under there. There's one here, and the same also underneath too. It helps if you have a couple extensions here, and that will work perfectly with a 13mm socket. That way you don't even need to unbolt the struts or any of the suspension components. We can just get in there and take them out. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now once you're at 3.5 bolts, I say 3.5 because your last bolt, just leave it in the tiniest bit so it's just a little threaded. That way if this whole assembly drops, the bolt will be holding it from dropping, and it might also pull out some of these brake components. So before we yank out this assembly, disconnect the ABS line here, because this is part of the assembly. This will come with it, and it's just threaded through the backing plate here, through this kind of rubber grommet. So just let that dangle loose, and then we're just going to try and pry off this assembly. We'll try hitting it with a hammer first. If you actually want to preserve your assembly, I don't recommend the hammer technique, at least on these edges here. Just try and be careful trying to get it off. So now to get this assembly out, it's just seized on around the back plate there. We can just tap it lightly with a hammer around here and get it out that way. However, if you want to preserve the wheel bearing, then there's another technique you can use. Say you want to get access to the CV axle or something like that, and you want to keep your bearing, but you need to take the bearing off. You can actually whack out one of these studs here by just tapping it with a hammer. Maybe put a lug nut on first, like the technique with the CV axle from before, so there's a bigger surface area. You can knock this right out the back and collect it from the back, and then you have a hole here. And what you can do then is thread a bolt in through the hole, put a nut on the back, and the bolt pushes against the back plate of the whole braking system down there. And as you tighten the nut and bolt on here, it slowly pries it out away from the car. So that's a technique you can do. The only thing is you need the right size bolt to do that, and it has to be long enough, and you also need a nut going, you know, a fully threaded bolt with the nut as well. So you do need something in order to do that. Other times you can just hit it and it comes loose. Just be wary of brake components when hitting it, you know, for obvious reasons. Before you go full animal and trying to whack out this bearing, if that's your sort of method of choice, be careful of this brake line here. It's not flexible and it goes straight into the cylinder on top. If this drops with everything else, you do risk fracturing this line, and then you'll have to replace the line and then bleed the system. So do be wary of that, and that goes all the way to the brake line right here. So unfortunately for me, the bearing was totally seized on. Even the bolt trick wouldn't work, so I just took some brake components off. You can use the other side of the car as an example to put it back together, and just literally got behind it with a flat head and pried it off that way. Everything sort of came unstuck then. This part here, the brake backing housing, is supposed to be loose as well. That was seized on with it. It was absolutely nuts. So, you know, it's from New Jersey, so you can kind of expect that. And here's the old part there. See, total rust bucket. So, you know, maybe that was why it failed really in the long run, but we had a good run with it, about 60,000 miles, so it's not too bad, I suppose. So now we're going to prep the area and get the new bearing assembly in. What I did, I took the bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put them around the front just to hold it in, because otherwise this whole kind of brake back panel will fall and brake pieces will go everywhere, especially if you didn't have to remove yours. You don't want all that dropping, you know. So that's why I did that there, and hopefully that's a useful tip. Next up, check your parts. Just check for you know, the same kind of circumference, placement, spread, ABS sensor connection. Sometimes new ones don't come with this rubber grommet here, so you might have to transplant it over. If your parts look good, go to the next step. So what we want to do now is prime the area for the new wheel bearing assembly. We're going to sand all this inside around here. Use some kind of, you know, not fine grit sandpaper, but we don't want to scratch the metal either, just so all this crud comes off. So all the way around here is what we're going for. Alright, so what I have now is some anti-seize. This is great, it ensures it won't seize on in future. Maybe you need to change the CV axle at a later point. We're going to have no problem sagging this bearing back off, so I highly recommend this. It's great stuff, about $8 for this whole thing. So we're going to go around the inside with the anti-seize here. This is where the bearing was seized on before, and also the splines of the CV axle right here. Bonus piece on the front flange of this CV axle as well. So those three places you'll never have a problem again. So that's what we're going for, something like that. The splines, the back flange here, and the inner ring. That's the main one right here. So next we're going to get the new assembly back in. We're going to take these bolts out and thread them from behind now, so they won't be in the way, and they'll be where they need to be. And bolt in that assembly. Feed the ABS through here, make sure that grommet is secure. Don't worry if you have all your brake components, it means yours wasn't rusted and you did a great job. They don't need to be out of the way. I'm just showing it for visualization and the fact I had to take all mine off, so don't worry about that part. So these bolts here, these threads, again you might want to just put a bit of anti-seize on these ends here if they were tough for you to get off. Mine were relatively okay, but there's no harm in doing that. Okay, we picked a new day to finish this one off. When you push the bearing assembly in, make sure it's pushed all the way against the wall, as you can see there, and then start threading the bolts in from behind. Tighten in a crisscross pattern, so say this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, just like you would do on a wheel when you change a wheel. That way it just sits flat and it doesn't get weirdly threaded or not perfectly straight. Okay, the bearing assembly is in. I've put all my brake components back, and if I were you, I'd just give it a shot with brake cleaner, just in case you know anything loose, maybe a dribble of anti-seize or anything like that. Just give it a full spray down, and again inside the drum, since we're in here, and then pop the drum back on. So while we're in the area, if you want to learn about rear drum brakes, I've linked a video in the description below. It teaches you how to maintain them, check for wear, and a little bit about what each component does and things like that. So I'd check that out if I were you. Okay, so the brake drum cover's back on. I'll take the washer. It's slightly curved one way. I don't know if that comes out on camera, but that's how you know which way it sort of goes back in. And now the axle nut, we're just going to put it on, then nip it a little bit, so that when we lower the car down off the jack stands, we can tighten it to spec. Right, once we've nipped the axle nut, we're just going to take it off the jack stands, and then put the wheel back on and torque this to spec. So if you don't have the torque wrench and you laid a mark, just line it up as before. If you have a torque wrench, it's 151 foot-pounds. You can get torque wrenches that go to 150 foot-pounds, so you know that will probably do. Just max that out. I don't think 1 foot-pound is going to make much difference. The point is, if you under tighten these, well, you know the problem with that. But if you over tighten them, then it can cause wheel bearing failure in the first place. And what a lot of people do, they over tighten these axle nuts, and then the wheel bearing goes out. So it's important these are torqued correctly. And as you've seen the actual lug nuts here, these are 96 foot-pounds, and these are connected to the same assembly. So it's important these are also torqued down correctly as well. The wheel's back on, let's take it for a test drive. Thanks for watching, and I hope it helped you.